Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Justin White. We're back here with David Pierce. If you watch the video that gets dropped before this one, you get to see the walkthrough of the compressed air supercharging system and the trailer and the setup, and just really cool, different world that is, it's something that is next level. But while this is cool, I wanted to sit down and talk with David a little bit about his history and where he came from, like his day-to-day stuff and why he even made the switch here, kind of that thing. So take us back to, what got you into cars in the first place. That's what I always like to ask people, because it's usually something childhood, something weird related.
Yeah.
Or
Nobody's ever asked me this before. It's interesting.
I want to know. I want to know everything.
So my dad was a hot rodder, and he was a shade tree mechanic, and his definition of horsepower is how long of a black mark he could make out on the street. Didn't even have positive track and any of this stuff. He was not at anywhere close to this level. He probably 500-600 horsepower was about where he was at. So my first hot rod was 57 Chevy, and I still have the time slips to this day. I was living in Colorado, and I was 18, and I made my first passes down PMI, Pueblo Motorsports Park, and it was a 4-speed car, had a 327 in it, ran like 15s. I think I have a slip that says 1490 on it. I thought I was king of the world.
At that time, you probably were in a 57 Chevy in Colorado.
Yeah. So got rid of that car, sold it, and I built a little Monza. Had a 388 stroker, a D-stroked 400 small block in it, and that was a fun little car. Had that for a couple of years. Got out of racing for a while. Started back racing. Probably 20 years ago. Had a little Vega, had a big block in it. And then I met Tina, and she started going to the races with me. We got married, and so my day job, I own Pierce Automotive. It's just a regular automotive repair shop in South Oklahoma City here. Been there 30 years in the same spot. That's my daily job, Monday through Friday. And this stuff I do here is in the evenings and the weekends, and love it, eat it, breathe it. I'm out here most every night, dabbling, doing crazy stuff like this. That's pretty much it.
Was Tina into cars?
She was
before?
not. She was kind of a hot rodder, like, I don't know that she ever been down the drag strip. She had a couple Mustangs, and she had a 4-wheeler when I met her. She'd rip around on that. And so I had a little Mustang that a customer didn't want to fix. I put a little 383 small block Chevy in it, run like 12s. She started doing really good with it. Took that motor out, put it in the blue Chevy S10 that everybody has seen on TV. And she raced that for a long time. And it'd run 10s, 7.0s and 10s. And we bracket raced it. She won a lot of races in that. I put a big block in it. Shortly after that, Street Outlaws came along, and I think everybody's probably seen the history after that. I haven't raced in a while. It's been, I'll bracket race every now and then, the blue truck here, but I built this truck for myself, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago. I raced dragsters. I raced the blue truck before Tina did. So I've been as fast as 750s in this blue truck. That's about as fast as I've been. Tina's been faster than me. Tina is better on the starting line than me. She has ice in her veins. She is killer on the tree. It's something that I can't do.
Sounds like me and Wendy's relationship.
So she is a natural, and she does great. And I love standing behind the truck or the Nova when she's leaving the starting line and watching it do what I told it to do, and watching Tina handle it. She's a heck of a driver.
So that's something that I get a lot of. People are like, "Man, why aren't you racing? Why aren't you racing?" And I'm like, "Well, Wendy does a lot better at the tree.
Yep.
Guys hate losing to girls.
They do.
That's fun too.
It's intimidating for them.
And honestly, I get more enjoyment out of controlling what that car is going to do and
too.
watching what it does and getting that log back and going through it and being like, oh, maybe I can do this, maybe I can do that. I like racing. It's fun, right? We enjoy that, but it's different when you are the one that's making that happen and, making that car do exactly what you're asking.
It is.
And they don't always do that, but for the most part.
There's a lot of people that don't understand the husband and wife thing, the wife's drives. And, we're supposed to protect our wives and protect them in everything that they do. But yet they have this need for speed and they want to go faster. And I'll admit I limit Tina on how fast she goes. And it's a struggle for me. We've had 2 crashes and I turn every nut and bolt on this thing and I put the tune-up in it, and it's hard. It's a hard thing to do to make it go super fast and
know that that's your everything in there.
That's right.
I deal with the same thing. We're at the track and I'm like, let me go easy, right? 9.0 something. And she's like, I don't want to run 9s anymore. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And then I couldn't imagine the feeling of the first wreck. And I'm sure at some point that's going to happen. But at the same time, I'm just like you. Nobody touches her car. If she's going down the track that next day, I'm wrenching on it because I'm not going to let anything happen.
It's hard for us too because we have people that go with us and people that want to help at the track, and with our history with drag and drive events. Can I say drag and drive? Is it still trademarked?
I don't know. We're going to say it
anyways. Side joke, but when we're doing the drag and drive stuff, her and I can only work on the car or the truck, and so we take pride in what we do. We don't have any outside help. Like Tina and I are the only ones working on it, and so when we're not at a drag and drive event, we still practice that. We only like to, because I don't know what somebody else has done or they wasn't done. Did the tires get checked? Did the valves get run right? Did we go over everything? If somebody, you're counting on somebody, it's really hard to trust somebody, especially when your wife's in there,
Well, it's not even that they have any malice or ill intent.
Right.
I borrowed an air pressure gauge, which I always have an air pressure gauge in my car. She either grabs it or I grab it. I borrowed one from somebody and it was off by 6 pounds.
Oh. And
I ended up losing control at about 100 mile an hour.
Yeah.
And I'll never do that again. So that's the things that you got to think of.
It is. I'm kind of embarrassed of this a little bit. We were at Rocky Mountain Race Week. We're at Julesburg, and I had a friend of mine here from Denmark. He was riding with me as my co-pilot, and he grabbed the air pressure gauge out of the truck, and I always leave it in the truck. I always know where it's at. It's habit. And I get up there, and I was ready to make a pass, and I didn't have my pressure gauge, and I was like, where's it at? And I seen him way across and there was a big line behind me, people waiting. And I was like, where's my air pressure gauge? Leave it in there, And so anyways, we're all habits. You gotta know your routine, and Tina knows what her job is, and I know what my job is. And so, the tuning in with it, and there's a lot to do, but we prefer to do it ourselves. I mean, that's just the way we prefer to do it.
I mean, you guys have been racing for quite a while, though, right?
We have. Yeah. I've been racing, all my life pretty much. And then, she's been doing it with me for 16 years now. So we've been together almost 20. So we know.
How hard was the regular repair shop choice over speed shop? Because this is something I've always told people. I'm like, they're like, man, I want to do a speed shop. And I'm like, no, you want to do alternator starters and batteries because that's where the money's at.
That's right.
And they're like, no, dude, I want to do a speed shop. I'm like, don't do it.
No, you absolutely, I've stayed away from that. I'm not going to say that I've never done any performance work there because I have, but I've strictly have a no performance car where I make my living because there's just too many people don't understand the time. They don't understand the price. If you need a water pump in your daily driver, it's not that big of a deal, but I call this pure speed shop. It's nothing. It's not really just a 40 by 50 metal building. And it's where I do all my work. I'm not a professional, fabricator. I'm learning, my skills are getting better, but up there at work is just daily driver stuff. Here is pure speed shop. And we try not to do any daily driver stuff here. But sometimes I wish I would have, when Tina was at the height of her popularity, I wish we would have moved forward with the pure speed shop thing and then just been only selling parts, like some of these guys have done. And it would be nice not to have to install, to only buy something and sell it.
Right.
And make a profit.
A lot of people have switched to that and done really well with it, but I mean, there's still a future in this. I think I think this is going to be a big learning curve for a lot of people. So it's definitely something that we're going to need you for a long time.
Well, I've really enjoyed working with the guys and learning, and I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about airflow. It's been a pretty amazing journey with this for the last 2 years, and the guys have been good to me, and I'm helping whatever I can do to help them grow. And so
how big of a, I don't want to say how big of a learning curve, but like when you're thinking of the kits and you simplify it so quickly with the 1400 and 2400, you simplify it so quickly, but that's not it's not a common thing for people to think about or to kind of wrap their brains around. I guess you're kind of just numb to it now. You're used to it. You're like, this number means this number. But if you just like a quick explanation of why that is what it is, like why 1400 pounds of air, well, what if the fuel's this, what if the fuel's that? Why does none of that matter?
Well, you've got the force of the air, and the pressure behind it is forcing it in, just like what a turbo would do. If you flow X amount of air through those metered, we've got the bottle valve. They're proprietary valves that are higher flow than like a standard, like a scuba bottle or scuba valve or something like that. It's enlarged to flow the air. The drive-by-wire throttle body that is back that controls. Once you have those set at certain numbers, it's going to flow the air, and the engine's going to make that kind of power. So you've got to have things right. You've got to have enough air, enough fuel, and the timing needs to be correct. So,
and the fuel is just dictated by, the air's coming in no matter what. And I guess when you think of fuel ratio, you're like, oh, well, what if I run methanol 3-to-1? Okay, well, then you need this much fuel, but you still need this much air to make that power. Right. The fuel is what the variable is.
That's right. And when, you have your base map of whether it's a VE table or pounds per hour or however you're tuning it, you still need to add that much fuel to make that much power. So I know I've said it before with this system, I've had it at 10.5 air fuel ratio. I've had it at 13.5 air fuel ratio. It didn't really seem to matter. And I'm not sure what, it rolls black smoke out of it, no matter what the air fuel ratio is. The engineers, Carl, has told me, it's product of the cold air. And I have to assume that's what it is. Maybe it wants more timing. Maybe it's just rolling fuel out of it. That's because it doesn't have enough timing in it.
Right.
I'm scared to put it any leaner because my turbo brain for 18 years has told me that, 11.5 is about it. But it's interesting, and we're going fast enough for what we're doing, and we're not going to add nitrous. We're not going to add oxygen content. We're not going to do any of that. We're just going to turn up the boost. So there's plenty more left.
Yeah.
We have 3,300 pounds of air pressure, so we can turn the boost to whatever we want.
Boy, the self-control for that up button has got to be.
Well, you take the wife and put her in that driver's seat, or my daughter. You have
that'll limit you real quick.
That's right. Now, if it was your buddy in there, hey,
you're going for a ride, bro.
Up. Hold on. It's different.
So the only thing we really didn't touch on a lot is the silver car. Which I don't think you guys filmed that, but I like the silver car.
The Nova.
Yeah, I love the Nova.
The Nova is badass. The Nova is nice.
And you're running that setup. What's the setup on the silver car?
So the silver car, it's a 66 Nova, and it was built by Mike Winters at H&J Fabrication. It was one of the first cars that he built. He's got his own personal car, but from back to front, he did the chassis work. And him and I worked very closely on that car. And Mike questioned a lot of things that I wanted to do with that car. And I said, well, Mike, if it's wrong, if it doesn't work, I'll pay to redo it. But we're going to put long travel struts in the front. We're going to put Radial, the tin soldier Radial short upper arm, I forget what they call it, but the 4-link setup in the back. And we're going to do a double frame rail, and we're going to have power windows. We're going to have cup holders. It's going to be a drag and drive car. And he did what I asked him to do. And that third pass in that car, it went 490, and we packed it up. I wanted to recheck everything because it's a brand new build. And Tina and Mike rode with her, and they brought it back home, drove about 30 miles from the track to here. And it was probably one of the best days of racing or testing that I've ever had, because it's kind of unheard. I'm not a professional tuner, and I don't, I do what I can, but for 3 passes and to go that fast and be able to drive it home, it was pretty dang cool.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah. So it's, back then it had a 509, same motor as this, with 2088s on it, and has a floater rear end in it. We built it to go fast. We haven't been super fast yet. We've been 703, and we've been 200. So we have not broke the 6-second mark yet.
You're tickling it.
We're tickling it. So last year, all year, we ran it with an LS, and we use Carter's engines. He does a killer job. He builds everything we have. And
are they located out here?
They are. They're in South Oklahoma City. And Carter's engine, Bert down there, he's a master at the LSs. So he kind of talked me into switching over to LS. So we put a pair of 76 millimeter turbos on it, and we've been 470 pretty regularly with it. We hope to go 6s with it. I just got a set of Frankenstein heads and one of their killer intake manifolds. I've never had an intake manifold that nice.
They're so pretty.
It is. So we're going to hopefully have that car together here in a couple weeks and get ready for some testing in Rocky Mountain Race Week, Mega Week. And so it's that car drives so good, and Tina loves driving it more than she loves driving this. It's smooth. It looks good. It sets low. It goes down the road good.
How was the change? Because I've noticed your trend of big block and everything. How was the changeover? I mean, how does the tuning stack up, or does it make?
Well, there's more behind the LS thing in that car than just deciding to switch it over. So we've hurt the big block a couple times in that car, and the problem is, I believe, when we're at a track that can't handle the radial, a fast radial pass, I have to turn it down, and it's lugging the motor, and it's beating the rod bearing out of it, and it's kicking a rod out. And so we've done that twice with that big block, and so I told Bert, until I get that figured out, I don't want to put the big block back in there. And so he built us this killer LS, and we've not heard it. But the big block, it makes so much power, and it's awesome. But when we can't get down a track, we have to turn it down, and the converter's too tight, and it's putting the RPM down low, and it's
just
no good.
Yeah, it's too much stress.
And so when you're at a race and you're expecting to go fast down the track, but then you have to back the power off, you're kind of stuck. Do you pack up and go home, or do you try to make a pass? And then when it shifts, it's dropping 2,000 instead of 1,000, or instead of 700. Yeah. So it's a problem.
Is that you say because of a radial track? So for the people that don't understand the difference, what's the difference in the track setup?
I can tell you.
Why do you have to turn it down?
So a real simple explanation is, if you've never been on a radial track, just imagine walking out on that surface. And if you ever looked at a track that looks really shiny, it looks slick, it's sticky. And if you walk out there, most likely you're going to lose your shoe. And your shoe will be stuck to the track. And on a regular big tire prep, like what this is made for, you won't lose your shoe. It'll feel a little sticky, but so a radial tire that's only that wide, it has to be sticky to go fast, to go really fast. It has to be good radial prep. And when we don't have that, and some of the tracks around here, they don't prep for radial tires. It's mostly big tire stuff. So we have to back the power off to be able to leave the starting line, and it doesn't like to be lugged. And so it's hard to make it have both. And I guess I'm not smart enough to load up and go home instead of turning it down, and Tina's ready to race, and, we'll end up going, 530 at 150, instead of going 470 at 158, we back it down and pour it on
150. Sorry.
Yeah. And so it puts the power band way down. When it shifts, it drops too much and it just lugs the motor. And so
could you use
that's been a hard lesson. I could use a dump valve probably.
I knew you knew I was coming with that.
Yeah. Probably if I was smarter. We have dump valves.
You keep saying that, but you've definitely got the knowledge.
I'm not as smart as a lot of people, but
yet.
I mean, I'm learning, but
yeah.
I'm learning what not to do. So
that's how you learn what to do.
Yeah. That's got dual dump valves on it, and we do use it to spool up the big turbos in the big block. But after chunking a rod and learning what happened and thinking, well, maybe it was a fluke, maybe something, and then it happens again, and then you're like, okay, well, now we need to back up what happened. Start looking at the data, start really studying what's going on, the situation. Oh, we were at that track, we were trying to bracket race, and we couldn't get down, boost comes in, pitches the car sideways, she has to let off, we have to turn the power down for the next round. We're getting ready to go up for round 1 eliminations, got to turn the car way down, and at that point, you're trying to compete, you're there, you've just driven a long way, so it's like, well, turn it down, and then it grenades. So the LS, it's easier to control less power with the LS, because even turning it down, it's not the power and the torque of the big block.
Okay.
If you've ever tuned or had a big block in and out of a car, I've
never done anything with big block. That's why I'm curious.
It's 10 pounds of boost on this. Well, can't take the compressed air, but 10 pounds on a turbo.
10 pounds on turbo.
10 pounds on a big block turbo versus 10 pounds with a smaller turbo on a small block is way different. Like 500 horsepower, 500 foot-pounds of torque. So that converter is set up to make 17 or 1800 horse, maybe 2000. And when it shifts, and it drops only, from 7,500 to 6,800, you're still above that peak torque, and it's fine. But when you turn it down and now the converter is super tight for that power range you're now in, that's maybe 1,200.
You're coming into that peak torque and it's beating it to death.
It's beating the rod bearing out of it. So I hate even remembering just the gut feeling of seeing all your guts laying in the pan,
We've all been there. We've all been there.
But, I've not hurt the motor in here. We keep the power where we want because we got a big tire and it's prepped. We go to big tire prep races with this. And so it's been good in here. 2 years and it's no problem. So
when you were talking about the radial prep, how it's real shiny, the big tire prep, is it more of a matte finish?
It's more of a matte finish.
Okay, because I've seen that.
And it's more dark. Like, it's almost like they put more rubber down, but they don't spray it as much. It's hard to explain, but if you watch on any of the videos at the Radial races, Ducks race, or, any of the 6 week stuff, like the tracks when you see them slick, like it looks like they're wet.
Oh yeah, when it looks shiny, it's
good.
You don't walk across that.
It's good. Here's another tip. I haven't told this to a lot of people. I told it to one guy. I carry a set of cleats in the trailer. So instead of going up there and losing your shoe, if you ever are in that situation where you're pulling somebody into the beams, or if you walk out there and you lose your shoe with a regular shoe because it's flat rubber, if you take a set of cleats with you, and you can buy a set of cleats for $20. I had Tina get me a set, so I'll put those on when we go to those races. My shoes don't stick at all.
I need a pair of cleats.
You definitely need a pair of cleats.
We were just at it's like a grudge event this guy Popeye puts on. It's for the overdrive car stuff at XRP. And I watched this guy.
Yeah, XRP has always got radial prep.
This guy lost his shoe, then puts his foot down, lost his sock, and then puts his foot in it.
Oh.
I was like, oh no, that's skin.
So if you had cleats on,
That wouldn't happen.
yeah, Travis Cannon's a friend of mine. He told me that years ago, and so I bought a set of cleats, and I always have them in the trailer just in case. But nobody radial preps around here, so I
Yeah.
haven't had to have them out in a long time.
Yeah. XRP is something next level.
That's a good track.
Yeah. We were cutting 1-1s with a big overdrive car. It's
That's
crazy.
impressive. Yep. That pass where I showed you the double wheelie with the
Yeah.
Nova, that was at XRP and on a Radial. And,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Wheelie mid track.
Yeah.
I think they had something else out there, wheelie mid track too. One of those Mustangs did. Yeah, it just gets out and I'm like, geez, how are you doing that? You know,
I love the power
300
wheelie.
feet out.
I love the power wheelies.
Yeah.
I've done many in this blue truck.
So the street stuff, we're kind of in the past. I never could understand that because, and I get it. It's cool. The TV show, we love the street outlaw stuff. But in my opinion, if I'm building a car and let's just say this level, it's not if you're going to wreck, it's when, and that's just how it is.
People can call me whatever names, chicken, but
no, it's called smart.
They don't understand how fast these cars are. And just like all the guys on the show, Dave, Chuck, all of them, those guys are going almost 190, 200 miles an hour. You don't want to do that out on the street.
The first time I was telling you about when they had come to New Orleans the first time to race, and I'd seen some pretty fast cars, I thought. And the first time I saw those cars make a pass,
you talking about the guys on the top 10 list?
Yeah. It was Chief, Daddy Dave, Chuck was there, Nova was there, and I recorded through my phone. And I watched the video, and I'm like, because I didn't actually watch it. I watched the video, I'm like, that doesn't look real. And the next one, I'm like, I'm not recording it. When those cars make a pass down the road, it's just, if you've never seen it before, it's crazy.
You have to see it. And those guys, I think
the video doesn't make it look as fast as it is.
I think they were going probably 450s back then, 480s on the street.
That's unreal.
I know that and Chief even said it in one of the episodes. He said when Tina had the blue truck and it was on nitrous, it run 550s, 560s on motor. So, and it would go down the street. So we know we were doing at least that. And Chief even said like it was a top 5, vehicle, but we never made it that far. So we had the baby and
yeah.
But I'll tell you the most interesting, shockingly fast pass that I ever seen on the street was, people probably aren't going to understand this, but Asian's Jeep. The Jeep that he had, that thing, all-wheel drive, it picked the front wheels up. You know how heavy them Jeeps are.
Yeah.
To see that thing make a pass was unreal. I just couldn't believe, I couldn't get it in my head. And that, we're talking probably season 5 or 6, whenever he built that and came out with that. I was just blown away at how fast that Jeep was.
Yeah, they're 5,000-6,000 pounds.
Yeah, the cars, we all know how cars are fast, but that Jeep, that was impressive. That was impressive. I'm having all these memories of all the things that we've done. It's been crazy.
Yeah, so, I mean, I wouldn't fault you one bit. Like I said, after seeing what those cars were running, and that was, when was that? 2014, I think, when that was going down. You can imagine what they do now. Because if you think what you were doing in 2014 versus what you do now, it's just a whole other game.
Yeah, and like I said, people don't understand how fast. Why don't they do real street racing? Those are not real street cars. Blah blah blah.
Well, I don't know. That one drives down the street, doesn't it?
Well, that's a true street car.
Yeah.
Call it what you want. It's got power windows. It's got cup holders. It's got steel doors. It's a street car, steel roof and quarters. But those
cars,
not
a daily car, but it's a street car.
It's not a daily car. It is 100% not a daily car. But it is 100%. That car's probably got 5,000 miles on it since we built it.
Jeez. Yeah, that's quite a bit for
a
not a street car.
That's right. We've done Rocky Mountain twice. We've done Sick Week. We've done King of the Open Road, which Tina still has the record for the fastest ET and fastest mile per hour. And so that record still stands. And so we've driven it around, had a lot of testing with it, driving, make sure everything was okay. Pulls the trailer. Mike did a phenomenal job, and just blown away at how beautiful that car is and how well it works.
God, it looks so good. I eyed it the whole time I was in here. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
why we're not looking at that? Why not?
Yeah.
But so the drag and drive stuff, you like it a lot? Because
We do.
that's something that I want to kind of get into this year.
Once you listen, these guys around here, you know, Oklahoma is known for its street racing, and it's known for its street cars. And these guys that put on these races, these street car, they all argue, you know, what's a true street car, what's not a street car. And it drives me crazy because none of those cars have done drag week. None of them.
Yeah.
And until I say that, there's the McKees, they drive their cars a lot. But until you've done a Rocky Mountain Race Week 2.0, Hot Rod Drag Week, Sick Week, you don't understand what goes on to make that car survive the week, go fast. You know, these people that have a brand new Camaro, a brand new Corvette, well, made it to the first hotel, you know, no problems. It's
That's gonna
like,
be me.
really, you know, it's like, and we're still, you know, barely past checkpoint 1 and, you know, dealing with a valve train issue or whatever. But it's not just
Don't make fun of me when I do that.
No, we don't make fun of anybody. Now, if you're that guy that's posting that you just made it and you're in a car that's 14-second car,
Yeah. At least we're a little faster than that.
okay, I won't make fun of you, but
But that's something I've always said is that drag and drive guys are a different level of gangster than people realize.
they are.
Because I've seen people on the side of the interstate lashing valves and making
We've done
adjustments.
it.
I've seen them at the gas station.
We've done it.
I've seen somebody changing a diff out at the gas station.
We've not done that.
Why he brought an extra diff, I don't know, but he must have knew.
Well, we try to use good parts. Like we have Mosier 40 spline stuff in this and the blue truck, and we've got a Mosier floater set up in the Nova. Hopefully nothing ever breaks in that. But it's not just about having the MacGyver skills to taking a piece of barbed wire, and I've done this, taking a piece of barbed wire off the fence and wiring shifter cable back together. Like I've done
It's not
crazy
a bad
stuff.
idea.
We were stuck in Florida traffic and the transmission was just smoking hot, like smoke coming off of it. And there were semis all around us. It was 95 degrees. There was a crash up there. They were helicoptering somebody out. One of the other drag week cars had burnt to the ground and we're stuck. And the car's idling. There's no cool air coming in. The heat's coming up off the road. There's semis around us. We're trapped. I didn't want her to turn it off because
It's going to overheat.
well, I was afraid it wasn't going to start.
Right.
Because
Too much heat.
we had both fans running and the temperature was up to like 220 and climbing slowly. And there was just no cool air to come in. So I had a couple water bottles, thankfully. And I was taking the water bottle and slinging it on the hood of the car, and it was running down and getting sucked into and it was keeping it cool. It was cooling back down. And so I was shaking it on the transmission because there's no cover. It's open transmission in there.
In there with you.
It's in there with us. And luckily we made it through that. But it's not just keeping the car together. It's the mental game of pushing your brain to keep going. Like you want to quit. The roll cage is so hot because all the bars.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
The heat radiating
Pulling it through.
It gets so hot in there. I'll bet it's 130 degrees and the bars are probably 150, 160 and you don't want to touch nothing. And to make yourself keep going and punishing yourself like Florida, it was freezing cold in the mornings and it was blazing hot in the afternoon, especially going down the road. And the mental game is something a lot of people don't understand and don't talk about. The lack of sleep. You get to hotel at 1 or 2 in the morning, then you got to get right back up at 6. And, you know, in between waiting on them to call your lane, you're back there trying to take a nap, but yet you still got to check things out. And it's just, at this level,
Yeah.
it's super tough. I have so much respect for everybody that does it and makes it through. You know, a lot of guys, they say they're going to do it, and they try to do it, and they go out the first day. And it's tough. It's tougher than what people think. To do it in a car that runs 10s.
Right.
No offense to anybody that runs 10s, but
Let's say that hurts. I'm kidding.
I'm just saying, to do it at a level,
Well, that's the thing. It's
6s,
like,
7s,
So-
8 seconds, quarter mile, like
So both of our cars are mid 8-second, street cars. These are full heavy cars. And when we were discussing them, like, I think I would turn it down to like a 950. You guys aren't going to do that. You're going to go and run those numbers pretty much every time.
We turned the Nova down a little bit. We ran, our fastest pass was at Bradenton. We went, I think it was 703 at 198. And I should have waited. We had to wait so long to make a pass.
Did you just say turn down in 7.0?
We didn't turn it down. we didn't turn it up. But Bradenton's like the fastest track in the United States. Like it's at sea level.
Better than Maryland?
Yes, it's at sea level. Like all the pro stock cars go there and test. It's the nicest of the nicest. So it may not be the nicest, but you get the best air because it's at sea level, and it was
any cool weather. You're starting to go negative.
Yeah. So the rest of the week we ran in the teens, 17s, and so I think our average was like 720 or something. We had a pass where there was a guy in the other lane. His car wouldn't spool up. He didn't tell us that his car wouldn't spool up. So Tina just spools up and goes in. Boom, boom. She's like 6 or 7 seconds once she was in on the trans brake.
Jeez.
She finally lets out. He goes in right when she lets out, and light changes, and he makes his pass. So they make her just back up, reset. She has to spool back up. When she got, I think it was like...
After sitting on it for 6 or 7 seconds?
Yes. So at 6.5 seconds into the run, it melted the cooler line off the transmission, spraying inside the car, hot transmission fluid. She gets to the end of the track, car's smoking, inside of the car is full of smoke. Luckily, it didn't catch on fire. She makes the turn off. This is at Gainesville. Makes the turn off, pulls over. All the smoke, she thought it blew up. She thought it kicked a rod out.
We always think that right away.
She calls me. She says, I think it blew up. And so she said, it's hot, transmission fluid everywhere inside the car, oil. So I said, well, let it cool off a minute. And I had my electric scooter, but I didn't charge it the night before. And so I went all the way at Gainesville's, like the longest track. So I went all the way to the end. I have her try to start it. It doesn't want to start. Click, 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 because both fans are running and battery was down.
And you're thinking motor's locked.
And I'm thinking the motor's locked.
Yep.
And so we have a battery in there that it's good when it's good, but when it gets down, it's not. So I rode all the way back up, and I was trying to figure out, because you can't have any help, I was trying to figure out how do I carry the generator and a battery charger on this scooter all the way to the end of the track. And so I couldn't. And so I'm like, I tell Tina, I was like, well, I guess we're out because I can't get you back up here. I can't haul this generator and the battery charger. So I go and ask. They said you can have one tow. So I got somebody with a golf cart. We towed the car back, charged the battery up, started right up. We were good to go, but it was pumping transmission fluid. So it pegged the 300 and something degree temperature
right
on the. So Summit was there, so I went over and bought some new hose and made a new hose, and we had been beat up all week, and we just waited till the sun started going down before we even left the track, like we weren't even going to attempt. But stuff like that just makes for a very long week. And then once you finish, and even though, in my opinion, if you turn it down and you survive the week, it's way better than not making it. Like surviving and being second, third, or fourth place is way better than going fast day 1 or 2 and setting personal best, but you didn't finish the week. It's worse. I mean, it's worse. So we don't turn it down, but we don't turn it up. We may turn it up after the last day, after we get a good pass, but it's stuff like that people don't think about.
Like I said, even people like me, luckily I've been able to see it. I haven't been able to do it because, it kind of goes hand in hand with how you guys work together, right? You're used to being together. You run a tight ship. You got your bottles ready. You got everything ready. You've got a good thing together, right?
Got a good base. Yep.
And if you don't have that, and you go into a drag and drive, I don't think you're going to make it.
You'll test your marriage. I promise you. And listen, we get into arguments, and you're trying to follow these directions. Turn left up here in 10 miles, and turn right in another 3 miles, and you get off on the wrong way and you go 20 miles, then you got to come 20 miles back, the same spot. There goes an hour of.
Yeah, don't you have to carry all the fuel you're going to use?
You have to carry everything. Yeah. I mean, you can pull over and get gas at the gas pump, but yeah, race fuel, you can buy fuel at the track if you need to, but we prefer to carry our own. That way we know what we've got. Like I said, we pull a trailer, but it's stressful.
It's another unique advantage of this. You'd have to carry a lot less 93 than you would
That's right.
methanol.
That's right. The only bad thing is we got to carry the compressor.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
And you know, one of the scariest things about
Could you do that with this? Could you make it through a drag and drive? Would you?
We're gonna do it with the blue truck.
I didn't
We're
think
signed
about
up.
that. How hard that's really going to be, because so technically, do you have to carry all of your own bottles?
So the bottles never come out. It's one thing we didn't talk about earlier, but the bottles never come out. So there's a lot of, I don't want to say leeway at Rocky Mountain, but Matt, the maker of Rocky Mountain Race Week, he will carry nitrous bottles and fuel for you. He brings a big trailer. He will carry that stuff for you. And I've already asked him, could I have you carry the compressor?
That's what I was going to say.
He said yes. So that's an option for us. But so first racetrack is, I think this year is in Tulsa, which is not very far down the road. So my thinking is I could have the bottles full, make our pass at Tulsa, come back to the pit, fill the bottles back up before we even get on the road. I think the next race is Topeka or Flying H. I don't even remember. But go there, make our pass there, charge it up. I think the next day is Thunder Valley. Mm-hmm. So we could come back here to the house as long as we leave and enter the same spot on the route. So hopefully they'll be coming by my place here and we can spend the night here. I can refill the bottles, go to the track the next day. So I kind of have a plan for this truck. We're not going to be using a lot of air because we're not trying to go fast with this.
How many passes do you have to make at each event?
Good question. Maybe 2 at Rocky Mountain.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Can you get 2 passes out of the bottles?
Maybe. We haven't. So I'm not turning this truck up. So it already runs. She went a 1060 at the end of last year. So I'm probably going to put her in the
That was
without compressed air.
Right.
So I'm almost thinking I can get 2 passes if I don't use that much air. We'll see. We're gonna have to do some testing. I don't know.
But you're gonna post all this, right?
I'm gonna make a video. We're getting ready to go test. Everything is installed, and hopefully next weekend we can go to Tulsa and test. And I'll post it on Tina's Pierce Racing YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And probably on Tina's Facebook page. She's got a pretty big.
If you're not on that already, make sure that you go to Tina Pierce Racing for YouTube, Facebook, and follow along, because this is really cool stuff. I mean, even if it's not something that works for you, you know, it's still interesting. Like I wouldn't see this viable for my C7, but ever since I saw it, I'm just like, this is so crazy. I just want to watch it happen. I just want to see the pioneering and, you know, what comes of it.
And I think about that. Who knows what this is going to lead to? You know, hopefully it'll be on a Pro Mod car. They'll have 2 of these, 4 lines, 4 bottles. They have new bottles now that are bigger around and shorter. They think it'll make 4,000, 4,500 horsepower. We don't know. Nobody's done it. But it's cool to be a part of the initial development. I'm very proud of what we've done, and who knows where it goes. Maybe it evolves into something else. We're hoping for big things with it, so we'll see. Mark's got some plans with it, and the guys back at the R&D shop, Dale and Carl, they're on it. They make all the parts there, so hopefully it's going to take off. And
yeah, I'm just grateful that you're taking us on the journey with you, and that you're letting us see it, that you're so open about it to really help.
We have nothing to hide. It's
there's
some secret stuff in there, but
a lot of people, you know, they'll try something new and then they won't really tell everybody. They'll kind of keep it to themselves. And you've been pretty open about it. And, you know, hey, we can talk about this, we can't talk about that. And
I haven't really
the gist of it.
I haven't really talked about it until PRI. Like we talked about a little bit last year, but we wanted to go faster before because we were only going 5.0s and 5.10s with the LS, and we were on 275s. So we weren't going super fast, and it wasn't like we were doing something super impressive. I wanted to wait till we were going faster to start talking about it, because all these experts,
You mean the inner experts?
keyboard warriors.
Yeah, right.
You know, if it was easy,
Yeah,
you guys should do it.
right.
All the people that talking smack.
All the, well, yeah, I was gonna do that.
Yeah, sure you were.
Well, when? Why didn't you do it?
Right.
So, well, look, I appreciate the time you gave us. I know it's
I
bedtime.
enjoyed it.
So thank you for sharing it with us, and thank you guys for tuning in and watching this. And tune in next time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. It was fun.